Hello, one and all. This is Ivan. Today we're talking about the government cutting free school meals, Marcus Rashford and Katie Hopkins. So let's just dive straight into it. Free school meals is an initiative that provides low-income parents with
free food for their children.
Yeah, with free food for their children while they're at school.
Yeah.
But when it reaches summertime or in a situation like COVID, when they're not in school, it provides the parents with £15 a week, which is around £2 a day, which isn't much to feed your child, but it does really, really help them out. And the government planned on cutting this funding for the free school meals. They must have had a meeting or something where they all sat down and they were like, okay, we need to cut funding. And then there was one guy who was like,
the kids.
Yeah, let's stop feeding the kids.
It's made even worse by the fact that they picked a time when we're all distracted.
To do it. Yeah, it's true. They chose while we was all looking at Black Lives Matter and coronavirus to go, let's subtly take food from kids. It's silly, really.
According to Marcus Rashford's letter that we'll touch later, 200,000 children in the UK are skipping meals during COVID. And in the month of April, 2.1 million people claimed unemployment benefits, which is 800,000 more than the previous month. So obviously, COVID-19 is causing a lot of issues with employment.
Yeah, and it's the government's fault at the end of the day that we're in this situation. It's the government that put us in this lockdown. And to fight COVID, fair enough, but they also have to deal with the consequences of it because they forced us to go into lockdown. These jobs are gone because of the government.
The government make a U-turn on the decision to stop the free meal vouchers, and I'm just hoping they do it as soon as possible. Really, because of COVID, the situation's been completely different for everyone in the world. So, circumstances change.
Rashford, the Man United player, came in and wrote an open letter on Twitter to the government, pleading that free school meals should not be defunded because he personally was a user of the initiative as a child.
How difficult were things for you as a kid when you needed free school meals?
Yeah, well, my mum was a single parent. She's got 5 kids that was all living in the same house. And that moment was the most difficult moment.
And it was raised by a single mother or something like that.
Yeah.
So it helped someone like Rashford become a successful footballer who's played for England, rep the country. He's done a lot for this country. So these school meals kind of feed the future Rashfords of the world, if you think about it. Rashford's letter had some opposition from namely Katie Hopkins. She disagreed with Rashford's letter. She made, I guess, a fair argument.
Before we start, let's agree 2 things. Number 1, Marcus Rashford is just lovely. I think he's fabulous. And number 2, let's agree that as a mother, it's my responsibility to pay to feed my kids. Okay, so here's some new news for you today. Free school meals aren't actually free. They have to be funded by someone. And that isn't a golden goose in the sky. That's Brian down at the co-op, who's on minimum wage and is having to pay his taxes to feed your kids.
When you have children, the children are your responsibility. Not anyone else's, your responsibility. And it's not really fair for you to make something that's your personal responsibility someone else's responsibility.
Now, if you have a mobile phone or fax or fillers, you don't need preschool meals for your kids. What you need is to get your priorities right. You have got your priorities out of order. That's why so many shop workers at Asda say parents are coming in trying to use these vouchers to buy fags or alcohol. Second up, of course, if you've had one kid, that kid didn't arrive on Amazon Prime, did it? You didn't call Deliveroo. It didn't arrive overnight. You had some time to plan this. And like when you want to get a dog, you know you're going to have to feed that. So you did have a bit of time to think about this. And of course, if you couldn't feed one kid, why have you now got 3 of them? It's not like kids are collectibles like football cards, are they now? You know, in Tower Hamlets, 38% of kids are on free school meals. How long does it take the people of Tower Hamlets to learn they can't afford to feed their kids? Or is it simply that because someone else is paying for your home, for your welfare, for your food, for your bills, you can have whatever you like? And finally, of course, my big plea to everybody out there is to realise that Brian down the Co-op didn't decide to have your children. You did. So why should he pay to feed your decisions? You know, before the welfare state came along, all of this stuff was sorted out by charity. I think the Marcus Rashford Charity for Hungry Kids sounds great. And Gary Lineker, with all that money he saved on British taxes, could chip in.
Yeah, the issue is it's not the child's fault that they are, in a household that is struggling to pay for food. Also, it's often not the parents' fault either. You know, most parents, pretty much all parents, do whatever they can for their kids. I don't think most people want to abdicate their responsibility for their child to other people. So I feel like cutting free school meals just harms everyone rather than the few people that maybe deserve it.
I see like both sides on this. I think both sides have a valid point, but for now, the kids are the priority. We can't really try and punish adults and then punish kids as a consequence. It's not really fair on them. But I also wanted to discuss, that I feel like what Rashford did was an example of how celebrities should use their influence and their money to make actual change, positive, tangible.
Yeah, rather than virtue signaling.
Yeah, instead from singing Imagine.
Imagine all the people
living for today.
Stop it. Get some help.
Yes, we can imagine those people. We didn't need you to to sing terribly Imagine to us.
Nice.
Or they badly act out how sorry they are for being white.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
And killer cops must be prosecuted. They are murderers.
No shit, Sherlock.
Or like you could did you see that video? Some of them were actually reading directly off a scripts, but they're paid to. They're professionals.
They're paid to be able to leave the script aside and
But they I don't know, but there's just too many instances of celebrities either it feels almost like jumping into certain topics or certain issues simply for publicity and not actually generally caring or doing anything before that or saying anything before that. It just all of a sudden it's convenient. What do they call the people that?
Oh yeah, like
their PR.
Yeah, like public relations.
Says, do you know what? This is a good time to care about black people.
Jump on the bandwagon, care about black people for a week, and then you can go back to how you normally live. I suppose the one problem is that part of the reason they come in late is they have to be careful what they say, don't they?
Yeah, that is
you
true.
Get railroaded for saying the wrong thing these days.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Like, comment, subscribe. If you didn't like it anyway. We'll see you next time on another episode of Let's Talk About It.